So it's down. Okay.
Yeah, that was Gary.
Okay, got you.
Okay, 7:30, we'll call the meeting to order with the pledge of flag. Pledge Okay, we had our minutes mailed to us.
Yep.
Anybody have any comments on them? Okay, does anybody have a motion on the minutes?
Let's make a motion
to accept the minutes as presented.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion to accept our May 28th minutes. And it's seconded. Any further discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Whoever that is.
I'm gonna recuse myself. We're doing that first.
That's what order we want to go in. You want to go in the order this is here, you want to go in the well, you mentioned doing that first. Let's do that. Okay. Mary is.
Okay.
Barry. Don isn't here, so. If we have to include himself. Okay. Barry. We'll call you back in a bit. Okay, we're going to be dealing with 174 Bridge Street at this point. We had a letter from Drew Davidoff and Edwards, which contained an engineer's report. Engineer with a license. You all got a copy of it, so that should suffice, I think. Engineer is James Wainwright Anderson. We got a
Include the New York State stamp with
yes,
all some of the issues that.
right. We got a large letter from Narrowsburg Union. Today there was one to James Anderson. There were other ones before. We've all gotten copies of them, I believe. And I got an email from Colin Kelly complaining about Carl Wosner and Charles Woods. But it has been verified that Charles Woods' stamp is good, so that's a moot point. Also today, received just recently was a letter from Joe Ferrari stating the things he stated in the public hearing, basically. That's it. And I received a letter today from J&G Law. So that's our correspondence. Now, does anybody have anything to say on 174 Bridge Street?
Well, not surprisingly, I have a couple of comments, but I'll leave it to you and you to rein me in if I start running amok. First of all, I want to thank everybody for taking the time to offer their comments at the public hearing and through their written submissions. A very valid complaint we often hear on all levels of government is that nobody's listening. While that may be true for other agencies and other boards, I want to tell you that we do listen to what you say and we do read what you submit. So thanks to everybody for taking the time to do that. Along the same lines, many of the issues that were raised in the public hearing and in the written submissions were potential code violations. And I'm not passing judgment on the validity of any of those complaints. I can simply tell you that we're not the enforcement agency. They don't give us a shiny badge and a summons book to ride around town and start slapping violations. When enforcement issues arise, the best course is to take it to an agency that can remedy the situation. Code officers, the EPA, the Department of Public Works, county and state highway departments, they're the ones who can bring some resolution to the issues. At the public hearing, for me, the one overriding question was the health and public safety issue if we approved the use of the rooftop bar, and there were some valid concerns raised. We are not, and I'm not anyhow, a structural engineer. If we were all structural engineers, this would be a very different looking board than it is right now. But I believe now that we have a missing piece of the puzzle, which was that certificate from a licensed professional engineer that states, quote, "The structure has been determined to be structurally sound, safe, and capable of supporting the rooftop loads without compromising the stability of the building." And I think that pretty much clears up my major concern for public health and safety. We now have an engineer's report that certifies that it's sound. And those are my comments.
Thank you, Mike. Well summarized. Anyone else? Okay, are you ready? I think so. So I would accept a motion for approval at this point.
I'll make that motion that we accept approval for
Rooftop deck bar. How's that?
special use permit
Okay, thank you.
for the rooftop deck on, the 174 Bridge Street property.
That motion is to adopt the resolution that I drafted for
Yes.
this, for the board.
Yes.
All right, I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. And a second. Any further comment from board members? No? Those in favor?
Call the roll.
All, Mike?
Aye.
I'm an aye.
Aye.
Okay. Carried. Now, Ken has adopted the resolution with a lot of particulars in it that we will be signing with that approval. So. Did you want to read that?
You can, but it's up to you.
I don't care. I read it before, I'm upset.
Mike gets to read it.
Okay, I'll come back to it.
Yeah,
That's all of it?
oh, that's why we did.
Okay. At a regular meeting, the planning board, Town of Tustin, Sullivan County, New York, held at the Town of Tustin Community Hall, 210 Bridge Street, Narrowsburg, in said town on the 30th day of June, 2025 at 7:30 p.m. prevailing time. The meeting was called to order by Chairman Bain, and upon roll being called, the following were, I need to.
No,
Okay, whereas Planning Board of the Town of Tustin, New York, parentheses, the Planning Board, has received an application of Upper Delaware Hospitality, parentheses, the applicant, close parentheses, for the approval of an amendment to an existing eating and drinking establishment special use permit and site plan approval with respect to premises located at 174 Bridge Street in Narrowsburg, being Town of Tustin tax map parcel 10.-2-4, open parentheses, the premises, close parentheses, which amendment is sought to authorize the addition of a rooftop deck above the existing eating and drinking establishment, open parentheses, the project, close parentheses, and whereas the premises have heretofore been granted site plan and special use approval for an eating and drinking establishment on the first floor level of the building on the premises, which use is in addition to the pre-existing use of the basement level of the building on the premises as a motor vehicle sales and service establishment. And whereas, although not included within the existing approval of the applicant's eating and drinking establishment, the applicant has constructed a rooftop deck on the building to which a certificate of occupancy has been denied in the absence of special use approval by the planning board. And whereas at the regular meeting of the planning board held on April 22nd, 2025, the planning board received and accepted the applicant's application comprised of an application form, an explanatory letter, a survey map of the premises, a site plan, floor plan for the basement and first floor as presently in use, and a floor plan for the rooftop to which approval is sought. Whereupon the planning board declared itself as lead agency for purposes of an environmental review pursuant to the State Environmental Quality Review Act and directed the applicant to submit part 1 of a short environmental assessment form and scheduled a public hearing with respect to the project to be held at the next regular meeting of the planning board. Time out 2 seconds for a break. Whereas at the regular meeting of the planning board on May 28th, 2025 at 7:30 p.m., members Mary Bermudez and John Kaufman recused themselves from consideration of this matter, and the planning board further considered the materials comprising the application, reviewed and approved part 1 of the SEAF submitted by the applicant after the April 22nd, 2025 meeting as directed, completed part 2 and 3 of the SEAF, and therefore determined that the project will not result in any significant adverse environmental impacts. And whereas the regular planning board meeting on May 28, 2025 was recessed at 7:45, at which time the planning board opened a duly advertised public hearing, during which it received the comments of any and all interested parties appearing thereat, and entertained questions from such interested parties, as well as responses hereto from the applicants, and all input from the public was considered. And whereas the County of Sullivan Division of Planning has provided the planning board with the results of its review of the project pursuant to General Municipal Law number 239, deeming the matter to be one for local determination. And whereas the members of the planning board are personally familiar with the subject property and the surrounding neighborhood and have observed the same. And whereas the planning board has given thorough and complete consideration to all of the foregoing matters and the general purpose and intent of the zoning law and the comprehensive plan, and is considering the project cumulatively together with the special use permit and site plan approval previously granted to the applicant with respect to the premises. And whereas the planning board is satisfied that it has complete and adequate record upon which to render its determination with respect to the application pending before it, and that it has duly deliberated thereon. Now, therefore, the following resolution of the planning board was offered by
you.
By me, okay. How quickly we forget. And moved its adoption and seconded by Brendan. Resolved that having considered the criteria of the zoning law regarding special use permits and site plans, together with the recitals, findings, and determinations herein made by the planning board, and having considered the intent of the comprehensive plan, the planning board finds in accordance with 300-8.2 of the zoning law as follows. 1, the project is in harmony with the purposes, goals, objectives, and standards of the comprehensive plan. 2, the project will not result in overconcentration of such uses in the particular area of the town in which it is proposed to be located. In reaching such conclusion, the planning board has considered the suitability of the site proposed as compared to other sites in the immediate area. The site of proposed development lies within what is generally recognized as the downtown Narrowsburg area. It also lies within the DB, the downtown business district, the intent of which, according to zoning law 300-4.0, is to, quote, accommodate existing high-density commercial activity located along Bridge, Main, 5th Streets and Erie Avenue, adjacent hereto, higher density residential development and associated service activities, close quote. The project does not create a new facility but rather enlarges the area of the existing facility that will be open to its patrons. 3, the project will not have a detrimental impact on adjacent properties or the health, safety, and welfare of the residents of the town of Tustin. The project consists of the addition of a rooftop deck that will be an expansion of the area of the applicant's existing previously approved eating and drinking establishment. The rooftop deck will be available to patrons of the facility, weather permitting. Nothing associated with the rooftop shall increase footprint of the existing structure. Accordingly, nothing new shall be established nearer to any boundary line of the subject property. Submissions and presentations made to the planning board by and on behalf of the persons expressing concern and or opposition to the project are primarily focused on assertions of potential risk to public safety based on unsubstantiated questions concerning structural soundness of the building as a result of construction of the improvements constituting the rooftop deck. While matters of this nature are more suitably within the purview and under the express authority of the town's building department, code enforcement officer, and building inspector, see chapter 126 of the Code of Town of Tustin, the planning board notes that in response to comments made during the public hearing to the effect that the structure should be examined by a structural engineer to ensure structural soundness, the applicant has submitted to the planning board a report signed and sealed by a New York State licensed engineering certifying that as of June 19, 2025, that the facility has been thoroughly evaluated to verify its structural integrity. It is therein certified that the structure has been determined to be structurally sound, safe, and capable of supporting the roofing loads without compromising the stability of the building. Number 4, the project shall not impose an undue burden on any of the improvements, facilities, utilities, or services of the town, whether such services are provided by the town or some other agency. The County of Sullivan, by virtue of its general municipal law, 239 review, determined that there are no countywide or intercommunity impacts associated with the project. No evidence has been presented by anyone who has expressed concerns about or opposition to the project that any undue burden may occur. The primary services relevant to the facility as it exists and as proposed to be modified are municipal water and sewer emergency services, i.e. fire, ambulance, police, and public highway. Nothing has been presented to the planning board evincing that modifying the facility as proposed will increase the existing burden to any measurable extent, let alone to an undue level. In addition to complying with the standards addressed above, the applicant must satisfy the town of Tustin building department code enforcement officer and building inspector that the subject building wherein the project is located and all physical improvements made to such building in connection with the rooftop deck conform with the requirements of chapter 126 of the Code of the Town of Tustin, the New York State Uniform Fire Prevention and Building Code, and all other requirements deemed relevant by the Town of Tustin Building Department, Code Enforcement Officer, and Building Inspector as are within their jurisdiction and authority. Another water break. It is further resolved that the planning board grants a waiver of the otherwise applicable requirements for the additional off-street parking beyond what has already been required in connection with the existing previously approved site plan and special use permit, which requirement for additional parking cannot be satisfied. The premises are located in the DB Downtown Business District by reason thereof pursuant to zoning law 306.12 parentheses 8 parentheses 4. The planning board is authorized to waive either partially or totally the parking requirement otherwise applicable under the zoning law. The existing approved site plan depicts all available on-site off-street parking. Planning board finds that such parking, together with additional existing parking lots in proximity to the premises, including the nearby municipal parking lot on Bridge Street adjacent to the town hall, community hall, and library, as well as the municipal parking lot on Main Street adjacent to the Big Eddie Brewery, afford adequate parking facilities to accommodate the subject use as the same exists and is proposed to be amended. And it is further resolved that the planning board finds in response to the technical comments made by the county division of planning in this general municipal law 239 review of the project, that the applicant must work with the county Department of Public Works to determine whether encroachment exists within the highway right of way and to ensure that all safety guidelines are met and any required permits are obtained. It is further resolved that the planning board does hereby approve the applicant's request to amend its existing site plan and special use permit approval for the purpose of authorizing the addition thereto of the rooftop deck, subject to the following terms and conditions. One, that the applicant shall comply with all and satisfy all requirements of the Town of Tustin Building Department, Code Enforcement Officer, and Building Inspector, and obtain a certificate of occupancy or amended certificate of occupancy with respect to the rooftop deck, and the same shall not be used or occupied prior to issuance thereof. Two, the applicant shall comply with the recommendations of the Sullivan County Division Planning as set forth in the General Municipal Law 239 review dated May 27th, 2025, and work with the County Department of Public Works to determine whether any encroachment exists within the highway right of way and to ensure that all safety guidelines are met and any required permits are obtained. Three, this approval is subject to and contingent upon required approval being obtained from the Upper Delaware Council and the National Park Service in accordance with the River Management Plan. It is further resolved that the chairman of the planning board is hereby authorized to affix to the site plan as approved the appropriate approval notations and to sign the same on behalf of the planning board. The question of adoption of foregoing resolution was duly put to vote on roll call and resulted as follows. Approved unanimously. The resolution is therefore declared duly adopted.
Just one point of clarification. I myself, Brendan Kenny, made the motion to adopt the resolution, and Michael, you seconded it.
Okay,
I'm sorry, Brendan.
No, that's fine. So I just wanted to clarify for the record.
wasn't trying to usurp you.
No, feel free.
So Vince, I hand back to you.
Okay, Mary and Barry. Back.
Thank you.
Okay,
Which are we addressing now?
new business. We have two subdivision applications from Tom to watch.
At which point I will recuse myself.
Okay, bye, Mike.
Bye, Mike.
See you in a little bit.
All right, let's take the 1 3-acre subdivision on Deep Hollow Hill Road. Okay, Parcel is 4-1-50, street address Deep Hollow, and I think it needs Hilton in there. Applicant name Thomas Kawachi, 1576 or 46? 76 River Road, Damascus, PA. And phone number. Signed by Tom and notarized. Okay,
That's right, 4-1-50 then?
yes.
Okay, thank you.
Now, this is a big parcel. What can you tell us about your plans for this parcel that you're taking off one lot?
One lot,
Yeah,
you're
you're
just selling it to somebody.
Yeah, well, I asked what is the plans for the big parcel? That's
Oh, the
not-
rest of it,
Yeah,
right now, nothing. I'm just selling off these 3 lots, with son and 2 friends.
okay,
As far as the big, lot goes, if something comes up, I'll go and see about it. But I don't know, I don't.
Now, this lot is in the Deep Hollow Hill thing. How steep is it? It's over 15%. You have a problem with that?
No,
No? Okay. Is there sufficient room left on Deep Hollow Hill Road for suitable egress and ingress to the remaining parcel?
yes.
Approximately how many feet?
Maybe 600.
Okay. I didn't know how far you were up there, and I know it comes together, so.
Yeah.
Don't want to back into a corner for later.
There's also frontage on Route 97 as well.
Right, but totally unusable, basically, very steep. On a corner,
Steve, but you could use
steep and on a corner, you'll probably never get approved. We have a lot up here that was approved and they can't build on it because it's on a curve. Your DOT won't let them do it, and on a driveway, so you have to be careful there. But as long as you get in from Deep Hollow Hill Road, you're safe. I think. I hope. Okay. It's usually, just so you know, Tom, it's usually this board's policy, or has been in the past, that when you want to take a lot off, you show us what's going to happen to the rest of it. So you might want to plan that before you start chopping off another piece.
Gotcha.
You know, that Jim will draw up some kind of a sketch of what's going on.
Okay.
And it's also been our policy that a parcel can have 3 subdivisions. So this is number 1. Don't take off another 3 acres and then another one and be backed into a
I don't
corner.
have any plans right now at all.
All right, well, I'm just telling you what our policies have been so that you don't get into a problem.
Thank you.
All right. Anybody want to declare lead agency for us?
I'll make a motion that we declare ourselves lead agency.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor and a second to be lead agency on Town Kawachi subdivision for parcel 4150, taking a 3-acre parcel lot.
Ken, let's also recognize in that motion that this is an unlisted action under seeker, okay?
Thank you. I can remember the name.
Okay, got that.
Okay, so you have a map. It's the one with the 1 lot on it. Shows where it comes off. Mary, you want to do part 1?
Yep, I'll do part 1.
And dig out part 2.
Okay.
You
Can I
have
get the-
part 2, so we can have it.
Okay. Well, I have part 2. There you go.
Okay. So you'll need it.
Okay. Okay. This is the short secret form, part 1. Project and sponsor of information, Thomas Kawachi. Name of the action of project, subdivide 1 3-acre lot from 125 acres. The project location is the Town Road 18 Deep Hollow Road, Town of Tustin. The brief description of the proposed action, subdivide 1 3-acre residential lot from 125 acres located on the northeast side of the Tustin Road 18, Town Road 18 Deep Hollow Road. The name of the applicant or sponsor, James, I'm gonna mess that up. Macheska? Okay, that's good. All right. The address is 127 Grimms Road. The PO box at city is Homestead, state Pennsylvania. The zip code is 18431. Does the proposed action only involve the legislative adoption of a plan, local law, ordinance, administrative rule, or regulation? They check no. Number 2, does the proposed action require a permit, approval, or funding from any other government agency? They check no. Number 3, total acres of the site of proposed action, they put 125 acres. That's it. Total acres to be physically disturbed, they put 0. Total acreage, project site, and any contiguous properties owned or controlled by an applicant or project sponsor, they put 0. Okay. Number 4, check all land use that occur on or adjoining or near the proposed action. They checked forest, rural. Number 5, does, let's staple that, hold on 1 second, I know. Is the proposed action a permitted use under zoning regulations? They checked yes. B, consistent with the adopted comprehensive plan? They checked yes. Number 6, Is the proposed action consistent with the predominant character of existing built or natural landscape? They checked yes. Number 7, is the site of the proposed action located in or does it adjoin a state licensed critical area? They checked no. Number 8A, will the proposed action result in a substantial increase in traffic above present levels? They checked no. B, are public transportation services available at or near the site of the proposed action? They checked no. C, are any pedestrian accommodation or bicycle routes available on or near the site of proposed action? They checked no. Number 9, does the proposed action meet or exceed the state agency code requirements? They checked no. Will the proposed action connect to an existing public or private water supply? They checked no. Will the proposed action connect to existing wastewater utilities? They checked no. Continue. Any question? Okay, I saw it out of my left eye. 12.
But I don't know why.
Okay, does the project site contain or substantially contiguous to a building, archaeological site or district which is listed on the national or state register or historic places, or that it has been determined by the Commission of the New York State Office of Parks, Recreation, Historic Preservation to be eligible for listing on the State Register of Historic Places? They checked no. Letter B, is the project site or any portion of it located in or adjacent to any area designated as a sensitive for archaeological sites on the New York State Historic Preservation Office Archaeological Site Inventory? They checked no. Number 13A, does any portion of the site of the proposed action or lands adjoining the proposed action contain wetlands or other water bodies regulated by the federal, state, or local agency? They checked no. Would the proposed action physically alter or encroach into any existing wetland or water body? They checked no. Correct? Okay. Sorry. Number 14, identify the typical habitat types that occur on or are likely to be found on the project site. Check all that apply. They checked forest and suburban. Number 15, does the site of the proposed action contain any species of animal or associated habitats listed by the state or federal government as threatened or endangered? They checked no. Is the project site located in the 100-year floodplain? No. Number 17, will the proposed action create stormwater discharge either from point or non-point sources? They checked no. Letter 17A, will the stormwater discharge flow to adjacent properties? They checked no. Letter B, will the stormwater discharge be directed to established conveyance system, runoff, or storm drains? They checked no. Number 18, does the proposed action include construction or other activities that would result in the impoundment of water or other liquids? Example, retention pond, waste lagoon, dam. They checked no. Number 19, has the site of the proposed action or adjoining property been the location of an active or closed solid waste management facility? They checked no. Number 20, has the site of proposed action or adjoining property been the subject of remediation, ongoing, or completed for hazardous waste? They checked no. It says here, I certify that the information provided above is true and accurate to the best of my knowledge. The applicant, James, I'm gonna mess this name up, but Lachaka, 6925, I'm really sorry. And then it says, James signs it, and then Tom Karachi is the owner.
That was a surveyor who prepared it.
Okay, okay,
Is the surveyor here?
yes, right there.
When you did the part 1, did you go on to the environmental mapper? That's just, I assume you did online on the DEC web. Did you use the environmental mapper to confirm that there was no issue with endangered species, that sort of stuff? Nothing popped up.
Nothing, huh?
Okay, I'm surprised Eagle didn't pop up.
Eagle
Fly over, you know.
or a rattlesnake.
No, that's not a rattlesnake area.
No. Okay.
Okay, so we have listened to part 1 of seeker. Did anybody stay awake and have a motion for us?
I'll make the motion
What's the motion?
Yeah. Motion to accept part one, presented by Brandon.
I'll take it.
Peter seconds it. Motion to accept part one seeker on Kawakshi subdivision on 4150 parcel is given and seconded. Any further board comment?
No.
Barry,
No.
no against it or aye?
Oh, aye. Do I have any questions?
Okay, sorry. We'll stay with
All
aye.
in favor?
Yeah,
Yeah. Aye.
Aye.
all right,
Part two,
on to part two.
you do
Want
part
me to
two?
read them while you okay, yeah,
Yeah, I'll read. Want me to read?
okay.
I'll read from there and you check, okay?
Yep.
Is that okay?
Yep.
All right, we're reading part two of the short form, the impact assessment. Okay. Number one, will the proposed action create a material conflict with an adopted land use planning or zoning regulation? No small impact, correct?
Right.
Number two, will the proposed action result in a change in the use of the intensity of the use of the land?
No or
The
small
small.
impact.
Okay. Number three, will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community?
No
No.
or small impact.
Number four, will the proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of the critical environment area?
No,
Number five, will the proposed action result in the adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkway?
no or small impact.
Number six, will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy and fails to incorporate reasonable available energy, conservation or renewable energy opportunities?
No or small impact.
Number seven, will the proposed action impact existing A, public, private water supply?
No or small impact.
B, public, private wastewater treatment utilities?
Small impact.
Number eight, will the proposed action impair the character or quality of important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources?
No or small impact.
Number nine, will the proposed action result in an adverse change to natural resources? Example of wetlands, water bodies, groundwater, air quality, flora, or fauna?
No or small impact.
Number 10, will the proposed action result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems?
No or small impact.
Number 11, will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health?
No or small impact.
Here we go.
Okay. we Read part two and answered our questions. We have to determine if we want to check the box that we found anything, which we did not. So we'll check this box that says, check this box if you have determined, based on the information and analysis above and any supporting documentation, that the proposed action will not result in any significant adverse environmental impacts. So we should have a motion for this. Mary?
I'll make a motion to accept the part two of the secret
And to check this.
and to check the box that we are going to, that we've determined based on the information that the analysis above and any supporting documents that the proposed action will not result in any significant adverse environmental impacts. And we have to do,
We're the lead agency.
we have to
Already
make a
did that.
motion to be the lead agency. I'll make a.
You did that.
Oh, we did that already? Okay, sorry.
So you're making a motion to accept the secret part 2 and 3.
Yes, I am. I'm making a motion to accept part 2 and 3.
All set.
Barry will second it. All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
I'm writing, so I have
Okay,
to
good.
take a moment.
All right. You take your time. I have to sign that here?
Yeah.
You got it. Okay,
Okay.
that's Amy.
Amy.
Amy? You know Amy?
Oh, Amy, this is very close to State Route 97, so you probably want to send it to the county.
County, yeah.
I don't know if the UDC cares about up there, but can send it to them anyway if you'd like.
Okay.
Okay, we have an application. We've done our secret, we're lead agency.
And now,
Now we need to
set,
decide if we'd like to set a public hearing.
yes,
So our next meeting is when?
July 22nd.
Okay, and you went down the list, so that's a good day for the fall. Right, you sent that list to me. Yeah, you know that, no problems.
okay, good.
725. For Kawachi parcel 4150 subdivision. You need to send out letters to people within 500 feet of the 125-acre parcel. Certified return receipt requested. We want the green stuffs back. Telling them of the public hearing on the 22nd at 7:25. You'll need to do it for those, you put both in one other basically.
You gotta do it for both sides, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, everybody got this, I'm gonna figure that out.
If you want, if you email us, if you can email my office, and then we will send you, we made a nice directions on how to.
Who
Find
have to
those.
do it. Okay, great.
Good. It works on the county side with your directions, right?
That was funny, though.
All right, number one there.
Number two.
Number two, we have a subdivision for Thomas Kawachi. Have we seen that name before?
You're gonna see it twice there.
No, it's been one piece of paper.
It's not on there, who's going?
Oh, okay. We're doing, 2 lots, 3 acres each subdivision on a different parcel, which is 5-1-8.1. It's on County Route 25, Eckes Road. One of the same, Thomas Kawachi, 1576 River Road, Damascus. Notarized. Okay. Do we wish to be lead agency on this one?
I'd like to make a motion, we made a sub-lead agency.
Okay,
I'll second.
we have a motion to be a lead agency on the subdivision on.
Mhm.
And this is taking 2 3-acre lots from 85 acres. Okay. Jim, can you come up here a second, please? Now you tell me 301 here. Well, I don't see anything here.
Note 15,
Oh, okay,
300.75 for lot 1, lot 2 with the building
the building
setback line,
lines, okay.
300.6.
I know you put the building line in, you told me that, but I didn't read all these, because it was on the computer.
Not a problem.
Okay, so he's meeting his setback and 300-foot lot line at the setback, so they're okay there. All those in favor of being lead agency, aye?
Aye.
Okay, we're lead agency, let's do part 1. Do you want somebody else to read?
No, I'll read it.
Okay.
I know. Good to go. This is the one, right? The one? 2.1, yeah,
Yeah.
that's correct. Okay. Going to read part 1 of the sequel. Project and sponsor information, Tom Kawachi, the name of the action or project, subdivide 2 3-acre lots from 85.24 acres. The project location is County Road 25, Eckes Road, Town of Tustin. The brief description of the proposed action, subdivide 2 3-acre residential lots from 85.24 acres located on the east side of County Road 25, Eckes Road. The name of the applicant, I'm just gonna say his name, James. Address is 127 Grimm's Road, Honesdale, Pennsylvania, 18431. Number 1. Does the proposed action only involve the legislative adoption of a plan, local law, ordinance, administrative rule, or regulation? Say check, no. Number 2, does the proposed action require a permit, approval, or funding from any other governmental agency? No. Number 3, the total acreage of the site of the proposed action is 85.24 acres. B, Total acres to be physically disturbed, they put 0 acres. 3C, total acres, project site and contiguous properties owned or controlled by the applicant or project sponsor, they put 0 acres. Number 4, check all the land use that occurred on or adjoining or near the proposed action, rural and forest. Number 5, is the proposed action a permitted use under the zoning regulation? They check yes. B, consistent with the adopted comprehensive plan, they checked yes. Is the proposed action consistent with predominant character of existing built or natural landscape? They checked yes. Number 7, is the site of the proposed action located in or does it adjoin a state-listed critical environmental area? They checked no. Number 8, will the proposed action result in a substantial increase in traffic above present level? They checked no. B, are public transportation services available at or near the site of the proposed action? They checked no. 8C, are any pedestrian accommodation or bicycle routes available on or near the site of the proposed action? They checked no. Number 9, does the proposed action meet or exceed the state energy code requirements? They checked no. Number 10, will the proposed action connect to an existing public-private water supply? They checked no. They put in their proposed wells. Number 11, will the proposed action connect to existing wastewater utilities? If no, describe or providing wastewater treatment. They checked no. On lot sewage disposal. Number 12, A, does the project site contain or substantial contiguous to a building, archaeological site, or district which is listed on the National or State Register of Historic Places, or that has been determined by the Commission of the New York State Office of Parks, Recreation, Historic Preservation to be eligible for listing on the State Register of Historic Places? They checked no. 12B, is the project site or any portion of it located in or adjacent to any area designated as sensitive for archaeological sites on the New York State Historic Preservation Office Archaeological Site Inventory? They checked no. 13A, does any portion of the site of the proposed action or lands adjoining the proposed action contain wetlands or other water bodies regulated by federal, state, or local agency? They checked no. 13B, would the proposed action physically alter or encroach into any existing wetland or water body? They checked no. Number 14, identify the typical habitat types that occur on or are likely to be found on the project site. Check all that apply. They checked forest and suburban. Number 15, does the site of the proposed action contain any species of animal or associated habitats listed by the state or federal government as threatened or endangered? They checked no. Number 16, is the project site located in the 100-year flood plain? They checked no. Number 17, will the proposed action create stormwater discharge either from point or non-point sources? They checked no. 17A, will the stormwater discharge flow to adjacent properties? They checked no. 17B, will the stormwater discharge be directed to established conveying system, runoff, and storm drains? They checked no. Number 18, does the proposed action include construction or other activities that would result in the impoundment of water or other liquids? Example, retention pond, waste, lagoon, or dam? They checked no. 19, has the site of the proposed action or adjoining property been the location of an active or closed solid waste management facility? They checked no. Number 20, has the site of proposed action or adjoining property been the subject of remediation, ongoing or completed for hazardous waste? They checked no. And then the statement, I certify that the information been provided above is true and accurate to the best of my knowledge. That's the applicant, James, and then Tom Kawachis, owner. And then,
Okay, thank you, Mary.
oh, any.
All right, we've heard part 1. Anybody have any comments?
Nope.
How about an approval comment? Approve secret part.
I'll make a motion, we approve the secret part one.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion on the floor to approve Tom Kawakami on parcel 5-1-8.1. The secret part one. And it's seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mm.
Okay, carried.
I'm reading part two. You tell-
I found another part too.
Oh, good. I'll read from there, okay?
Yeah.
All right, ready? I'm going to read the secret part two. Okay. Number one, will the proposed action create a material conflict with an adopted land use planning or zoning regulation?
No or small impact.
Number two, will the proposed action result in a change in the use of intensity of the use of land?
No or small impact.
Number three, will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community?
No or small impact.
Number four, will the proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of the critical environmental area?
No or small impact.
Number five, will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkway?
No or small impact.
Number six, will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy and it fails to incorporate reasonable available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities?
No or small impact.
Number seven, will the proposed action impact the existing A, public, private water supply?
No or small impact.
7B, public, private wastewater treatment utilities.
No or small impact.
Number eight, will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources?
No or small impact.
Number nine, will the proposed action result in adverse change to natural resources? Example, wetlands, water bodies, groundwater, air quality, flora, or fauna?
No or small impact.
Number 10, will the proposed action result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems?
No or small impact.
Number 11, will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health?
No or small impact. Okay, we found no major problems there. So we will check the box that we've determined based on the information analysis above and any supporting documentation that the proposed action will not result in any significant adverse environmental impact.
I will make a motion that we check the box, and if you, and we've determined based on the information analysis above and supporting documents that the proposed action will not result in any significant adverse environmental impacts.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to accept part two of the seeker. And it has been seconded. Would anybody have any comment?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, any nays? Carried. Whoops,
That's okay.
sticky fingers.
Oh, my goodness. And hand that over to Amy. Okay, he going.
Okay,
Come on back, Mike.
um,
On my way, on my way.
same routine. Letters gotta go out to all the neighbors.
Within how many feet did you say?
500 feet of the big parcel.
I'm gonna set that public hearing.
Yep, we need to set a public hearing. They're together, they could be 7:25 also, I guess.
7:25,
No,
7:20,
yeah, you got separate public hearings.
Okay, 7:20.
Give
7,
me that date again, because I didn't have a. pen.
7:20,
July 22nd.
7:20, okay?
Kenny, excuse me. You said 500 feet. Is that 500 feet of the subdivision or 500 feet of that
The
entire?
entire
lot?
parcel.
The entire parcels.
7:20, so,
It's gonna make you send out quite a few.
okay.
Yeah, said a lot.
Yeah, just for clarification.
Yeah, you mentioned all of it.
Just for clarification, that the meeting is July 22nd. We, instead of using 7, because we've got a little confusion
Right.
here, so it is July 22nd at 7:20 PM or 19:25 and the 24-hour clock.
Yeah.
So,
Okay,
Okay, got it, Brenda, got it marked down, remind me to show up.
yeah, I'll give you a call.
We need it.
okay, now we
That's
need,
back on regular schedule then, right?
yes,
Crystal, you're off the board, right? So we don't have to do that. We've set our public hearings, we've looked at these two.
mhm,
There probably won't be any changes, so if everybody wants to give their maps back and put them in the pile, we can use them for signing
Yep.
next time.
that would be good.
So, Amy, will you be the keeper of them while we, that's them?
Mhm,
They're sort them out, eh, Mary?
yeah, yep, we will sort them out.
We'll give you a nice. I like these.
Two lot,
Well, let's-
two lot, there's here. Two lot.
you have the one lot?
Everybody with their map, man.
No, we don't
One
want
lot.
one lot, there's one lot. Okay. There's the other.
There, another two lot.
That's a two lotter. Two,
And here's another lot.
two lotter. Four comments, no, four. Four comments.
Any comments from members of the board?
Do we have any comments from the board?
I think we've commented quite a bit.
I haven't commented.
Hi, Bob.
Microphone, get here.
Any comments from the?
Okay, any comments, any further board comments?
No,
Okay, I'd like to make a motion, we close the meeting.
I'll second that.
Okay. Okay, all in favor of closing the meeting?
ah,
Aye.
thank you, Ken.